WTO is associated with long talks, various tariffs, customs quotas, imports and exports, as well as other terms which our consumers sometimes do not understand. The task of the WTO market is to break all the barriers between the buyers and the sellers, because we know everything about the prices.
Рис и пшеница – основные продукты.
Rice and wheat are the basic food products in the world. Rice can be perfectly grown in a hot and humid environment. The menu of people in Southeastern Asia consists of rice by approximately 80%. Flatlands of North America and Europe are ideal for good wheat crops. Kazakhstan is also known with its high yields of wheat. Flour products are especially popular in Central Asia and in the Middle East.
Потому что страна вступила в WTO.
Watch in the upcoming 10 minutes. For our own needs and for exports, where people eat Kazakh buckwheat, rice and barley. How can we know whether pasta we eat is of premium quality? The second most popular after wheat. What are the countries with the highest production and consumption of rice? Nutritionists believe that a daily menu of human beings should consist by 1/3 of cereals, and this has become a worldwide tendency that cereals as garnishes lose their popularity in regions with growing incomes. However, Kazakhstan is capable of providing itself with these healthy products. Climatic conditions of Kazakhstan are favorable for grain and cereal crops. Buckwheat is grown on the north, barley on the south and even on the west, and rice in Kzylyurda region. The production of cereals and grains in Kazakhstan is rapidly growing. During 5 months of 2016, from January till May, the production of rice in Kazakhstan reached nearly 74,000 tons against almost 64,000 tons during the same period in 2015. The production of other cereals, crude flour, granules and other cereal products exceeded 30,000 tons against 20,000 tons during 5 months of 2015. Last year, the country satisfied its demand for cereals by more than 75%. This year, grain producers covered almost all the demands of the market of cereals. Out of the total volume of cereals produced in Kazakhstan, about 84% are consumed inside the country and the rest are exported. Most of these new types of cereals are imported. They are very tasty, rich with vitamins and have nice packages. The production lag in our country is explained by outdated equipment. So what we need is modern equipment and innovative technologies. Muesli and other quick-to-cook cereal products are also known as food concentrates. The consumption of food concentrates all over the world is increasing due to the changing pace of life. Indeed, nowadays many people prefer easy and quick-to-cook meals. For example, in the US, the consumption growth of such products makes up 3% annually. The Kazakh National Agrarian University is currently involved in the development of food concentrates which can be produced in Kazakhstan. Proteins, fats and minerals contained in some cereals are absent in other cereals. In order to fill these gaps, we develop whole grain flour from grain composite mixture. It consists of all types of cereals: wheat, barley, buckwheat, switchgrass, corn, rice and so on. The production of pasta, which is widely purchased by people of Kazakhstan, is also growing by 2.5% annually. Notably, more than a half of local residents prefer to buy pasta in packaging. European countries and the US produce buckwheat only for cattle. Some of its types are available in pharmacies as a food for people ill with diabetes. So mass consumption of buckwheat in these countries is completely excluded. In the East, in particular in China, Korea and Japan, this crop is consumed in the form of flour. The Koreans prefer buns and the Japanese noodles from buckwheat flour. In CIS countries, buckwheat is especially appreciated. It is considered as a strategic raw material due to a lightweight and long shelf life. It is also easy to cook and very nutritive. Because of that, even a small change in prices on buckwheat cause panic among the local population. In the following story, we shall tell you about the factors which really influence its price. Buckwheat is a delicate plant. For good crops, the humidity level should be about 50% and temperature should not exceed 25 degrees. Under these conditions, bees pollinate buckwheat in a due manner. In case of insufficient pollination, ovaries of plants will be underdeveloped. Untreated buckwheat sold by farmers costs about 100 tenge per kilogram. After droughts, rainy or freezing weather, and as a result, poor harvest, its price can rise 2 to 3 times. Producers buy raw products from farmers. After that, grains are steamed, exfoliated, cleaned and fried. Ready-to-use grain costs almost twice as much than buckwheat from the field. Sellers add to the price logistical costs. The supply and demand situation on the market also affects the price. As a result, the price of buckwheat in Kazakhstan varies from 271 to 452 tenge per kilogram. There are from 400 to 600 types of pasta worldwide. This product is very nourishing and rich with carbohydrates. An average citizen of Italy consumes about 30 kilograms of pasta annually. In the rest parts of the world, this figure varies from 5 to 10 kilos per person. People in Kazakhstan eat about 7 kilograms of pasta per year. As for statistics, it is quite difficult to count the amount of homemade flour products preferred by the majority of local citizens. Pasta is good for health even if it is made of durum wheat. However, we should be able to detect where the contents fully corresponds the information written on the package. Macaroni made of premium quality flour and durum wheat should not break apart or stick together during cooking. However, we should remember that unfair producers sometimes mix expensive flour with cheaper ones. Premium quality pasta should not be grey but have a yellowish color. The package should not contain broken parts or flour. Good macaroni are also distinguished with firmness and have smooth edges. Irregular cuts can indicate that the product was dried incorrectly. To make sure whether macaroni is of good quality, it is necessary to cook them. If they did not stick to each other and their color remained unchanged, would mean that they are made of durum wheat. A seasonal demand affects the markets of cereals. Summer is traditionally considered an off-season as most of people prefer to eat fresh vegetables. The peak of demand for buckwheat is usually observed in spring when a lot of women want to lose weight by summer and keep to diets which often include buckwheat. In winter, the majority of people buy cereals. The most in demand are rice, buckwheat, semolina and pearl barley. In the following story, we shall tell you about the most popular types of grain on the global market. Areas used for growing of wheat, rice and corn are the largest in the world. Wheat is the most produced cereal. It is used in the production of bread, pasta and confectionaries. Rice is the second most popular after wheat. The output of rice all over the world reaches about 500 million tons. The production and consumption of this cereal is growing by 1.1% annually. Despite this fact, this season the gross output of rice decreased to 473 million tons. Rice is mainly grown in Asia, Africa, South Europe and America. People in Asian countries eat rice 3 times a day. The consumption rate makes up on the average 150 kilograms per person annually. More than a half of its volume is grown in China and India. However, these countries almost do not export it. The global rice suppliers are Indonesia, Bangladesh, Thailand and other Asian countries.
Крупный немецкий автомобильный концерн недавно...
Since recently, a large German car maker has been exporting rice from Argentina. This, at the first glance, unusual decision will allow the auto giant to fulfill the requirements of Buenos Aires and renew the supply of cars to this Latin American country. Earlier, the Argentinian authorities obliged importers to compensate to the full extent the deficit of balance of trade at the expense of exports. As soon as the car maker agrees to export rice, he will be entitled to supply its products, automobiles, to Argentina. I wish you economic and quality purchases.
Экономных и качественных вам покупок.